all that love also puts a lot of pressure. All right, all that hooting and all, it can backfire for a speaker. But thank you so much for inviting me. And I would like to start my talk about creativity. And today, this talk is specialized for youth, not for everyone. Like Sir had mentioned, the range of the youth. So it's specialized for youth. And what I'm saying is, everything can be learned and has to be studied. Nothing comes just naturally in you. Unless you observe it, understand it, apply it, take a feedback, reflect on it, it does not become a solid skill in you. So today's talk is about how or what can we do to study and practice this skill that we call creativity. And I find, and I envy actually engineering. I come from a design background and a little bit of art. But I envy engineering because I find your discipline to be the most creative, or maybe at least, let's say, to have the most potential in creativity. What you do with it is a secondary question, right? But I'll elaborate on this very soon enough. So first thing you have to understand with creativity is that to be able to think differently, you first have to break down a lot of mental neural patterns. At the same time, create new ones. All right? Certain fields, by the definition and by the philosophy, by the identity, have a lot of freedom to think. Certain disciplines have less freedom. All right? But as we are evolving into 2023 and forward, you will also understand that how technical skills are taken for granted. Machine learning, AI, a lot of these technologies are going to replace purely technical skills. And what people are looking for, the biggest companies, is can you think differently? And therefore, regardless of the discipline you come from, whether it's engineering, arts, humanities, does not matter, creative thinking is becoming an essential part of your, like the demand that is coming from the company, right? So how do we break these patterns? One very simple way is do it differently. And before I elaborate on this, understand that 4 years of college or 2 years of college, whatever you have, is a golden period. I don't think one should expect you guys to be functional in terms of your thought, or it has to be executed in real time. For me, this is the purely time for exploration, because nothing is at stake. You make a mistake, nothing happens, right? Money is not at stake. Your, let's say, credibility is not at stake. You're still forming. And this is the golden period that you can make mistakes. So when I say do things differently, it means, for example, let's say if I was to give you a talk like this, the whole talk, right? Why do I have to face you guys and talk? What is the reason? And this takes me to the next part, which is always keep questioning why and why not. Unless because you could hear my talk, right? This is the talk. We can switch off the light, you can still make sense of what I'm saying. So what is the need for me to face you? Have you thought about it? Some of you might have answers. Some of you have never thought about it. It's important to investigate, think about, read about it, research about it. Unless you go through this whole cycle of questioning, you're not going to be able to break the patterns which are existing. And we all individually are some culmination of tons of thousands of patterns we have picked up from childhood, environment, education. We talked about it today, right? So we are like a huge matrix of strong, concrete identity. But like I said, this is the learning phase. How can you stay concrete and flexible at the same time? So you have to decide, do you want to be flexible, growing, or do you want to super specialize super soon and become concrete? If it was up to me, I would recommend youth to be flexible now. Okay, the younger you are, make more mistakes. Collect that data, create that a huge list of what not to do, more than what to do. Because everything is possible, right? So don't have a list of what can I do. Have a list of, through your experiences, through your mistakes, have a list of what not to do again, so that you don't repeat the mistakes. Now, the second part I would like to go into is to be able to think differently and do differently, it requires either to be fearless or to be shameless. There is a very fine difference. Sometimes I don't realize which one is which. All right? For example, a lot of you might like me wearing a dhoti. And you might like, I would like to try it. But would you? It's a very simple thing. You can wear it. And a lot of times we want to do something. We don't. Because either we feel a little shame or we feel a little fear. And that will stop your thinking and action every time. All right? So for example, if I have to practice shamelessness, why can't I sit down and give a talk? Is it offensive? No, right? But there is some shame. There is some kind of fear, right? Now, one practice I'm going to give you, we call it gibberish. You understand gibberish? We all can take out sounds. Can we talk in gibberish? Practice it. Try. You will realize the words are not coming out of your mouth. And that will give you a clue of how hardened your system is. You can take out a sound, but it will not come out when you want to communicate gibberish to someone else. So the moment you start doing this ridiculous kind of exercises, it starts breaking the previous patterns. It is not functional exercise. It's not going to give you a major skill. But yes, in a way, it's going to give you an interesting identity. It will give you the courage to start doing things which you always thought was a little weird. And India is funny. We have no shame for the worst kind of habits. Spitting, loitering, shamelessly doing it. Abuse, violence, shamelessly doing it. When it comes to what do you want to wear, full of shame, right? What do you want to study, a lot of guilt and shame. So we have to flip this whole equation because we are actually stopping ourselves from creatively expressing ourselves, from developing our mind to create new neural connections so that we can find that creative way. Now, coming to the next point, since we are matrix of tons of algorithms, the more variety of activities you do, the more interesting algorithms and neural connections start forming. So since you guys are in engineering, I know you are dealing with logical reasoning a lot more. Do something very different. Start doing performing arts. Start doing theater. Some bit of dance. All right? The moment every time you learn a new skill, it creates a completely new understanding and a new neural pattern in your mind. All right? So the more horizontally you go, this is my engineering. I'm studying anyways, non-negotiable, right? So I study this, I get a neural pattern which creates out of engineering and logical thinking. I do bit of painting, another neural pattern starts emerging. I do bit of dance, I do bit of poetry, all right? And it's a buffet. I'm not saying do these things. You can choose, but make sure you choose a huge variety. Some can be very binary opposite also. Once you have this neural connection, then they start communicating with each other. That's where creativity and innovation is born. All right? It's not born through one. You need a huge horizontal, we call it a T-shaped learning. Right? T is like this, correct? This horizontal is what I'm talking about, different things. And the vertical one, T, that's a specialization that you will go into. And for me, specialization is automatic. You spend enough time in a field and in life, let's say 20 years, a lot of things you love, you will not love anymore. You will start shedding it. You'll get tired. Youth has the most amount of energy. You can do 10,000 things. And that's why I'm saying you can explore now, you use that energy, right? And the thing is, when you start getting bored, when you start shedding other things, what is left is your specialization, automatically, right? So therefore, I think this is the golden period in which you can really develop things. And creativity, the word create comes in. Learn skills which help you manifest things. Hands-on skills. Do a little bit of carving, right? Like for us, if I knew robotics and electronics, amazing art can come out of that. So fields are merging into each other, and you have to realize that future, and even now, it's not strict disciplines segregated in columns. Everything is merging. It's a matter whether you can see it. Now, one more thing when you're ideating, don't start with a boundary. When you're ideating, you can be nonsensical also. Every idea has to be placed on the paper. Especially, let's say a group is sitting. Do not reject anything in the first go. Note everything down, all right? Later, depending on the execution, what is required, you can be pragmatic. But don't start with a restriction. You can always restrict yourself later in the filtration process. But a lot of us, the moment you stop your mind from even thinking, now that is something I would recommend not to do. And it's again a practice. Nothing comes naturally. You have to even learn how to love, all right? Now, some of the other habits, for example, we all play, right? Start playing board games. Because board games come in a huge variety. Some are a mix of linguistic and IQ. Some are purely IQ and logic. Some are purely, a lot of understanding of art can also come in. So you have a huge range of board games. You can even have a library in your college. Instead of engaging in digital games, which targets very specific aspect, board game also takes care of a social aspect. And this is the power I think the youth has. So recently, I did an exercise with some students. It's ironical, but creativity thrives in limitation. And I'll give you an example. If I give you paper and if I say, okay, you can create anything with it, and I leave you, I come back after half an hour, you guys are still confused. Okay? Or somebody has used tons of paper and created something. But if I tell you, you have 10 strips of 5 inches by 1 inch only. You have to create the highest structure possible only using these 10 strips. You can also not use any glue. Then see what kind of interesting output starts coming out. So the moment you limit a brief and release it to people, the creativity comes out even better. Because when you say freedom, it is very disorienting, okay? Unless there is a focus given there. And I did this experiment with, we had 240 students and the same exercise. Interestingly, although the objective was given that you have to create the highest structure, every form, every model was different. And they couldn't use glue, which means they were using joinery and some innovation in joinery as well, right? Now, the power of youth and the power of group working, which is parallel processing, I will say, you work on one model, but the output is 240. You learn from other people's mistake, you learn from their ideas. And that is how you maximize and learn exponentially. You don't learn just for yourself. So always, because there's a study by McCrindle in which they were studying generations. So Gen Z and Gen Alpha are actually, their real power is collaboration. Their real power is working together. So when you're sitting with brainstorming, keep a very wide range of students. Someone from bio, someone from education, someone from engineering or mechanical, or doesn't matter. The more variety you have of students, greater ideas will come. But it's a practice again how to work with human beings. It's difficult, but it's beautiful. All right? Now, you have to slowly become this mixing pot. All right? Mixing pot of a lot of ideas, a lot of identities, and this is the time to do it. By the time you come out, you will realize some kind of solid identity coming out. But before you have understood the range and width of you, how would you know? How would you know your potential? How would you stretch your potential? So I'm saying experiment, explore, have fun, be a little shameless, be a little fearless, all right? And collaborate across. And just see the beauty which is coming out in the world, in the field of creativity, engineering. Yeah, so I've seen this in UK, there was this Heathrow Airport, and there is a huge installation. It's made up of this size coins, must be millions of them, thousands at least. And the whole thing creates a wave across. These small coins flip. It's a purely engineering marvel, creating a visual art appeal. Without engineers, it was not possible. Without the visualizer or artist, it was not possible. What if there was an artist and an engineer together in one person? Do you think it's that far-fetched a thought? I don't think so. A lot of you have a lot of talent. But we will have to break those pre-constructed neural networks. Break it, make new ones. Break it, make new ones. And this has to be a practice that you guys will have to follow. Okay? There are tons of exercises around the world. A little bit of research will do, and you'll find them. And with this, I would like to conclude my talk today. And I wish you guys all the very best and a lot of power. And I want to see the youth coming out after all that melting pot of your experiences and mistakes from your college. You'll come out almost like gold, which is purified. So thank you.